Story 1. We, 27 female and 36 male, have been married since about 8 months ago, together for 6 years. My husband is from Argentina. He grew up there and moved to the US, where we live now and where I'm from, about 10 years ago. I've never met my husband's family, but he did take our son there once when he was about 2 years old. I was busy with work and couldn't make it, and it was the only chance my husband had to travel. Well, recently, my father-in-law retired from the company he helped found. My husband's parents are selling the family home and downsizing. It's apparently a really big deal, and my husband wants to go back to Argentina for a month to celebrate as well as help his parents move or just visit his family and old friends. They're from a very small town, and my husband has already told everyone he is coming back. They are all very excited. I was excited too. I've never met my husband's family. I am in a position where I can take the time off work, and I was excited that my son is now old enough that he could actually have fun and remember this trip a little better. Plus, I've never met my husband's family. I feel like after 6 years together, it's time for that to happen. When I brought up plans for what I wanted to do while there, my husband informed me that he wanted to go alone. Now, it's not like he's only going for a week and we can't afford it. We can more than afford it, and it's a whole effing month. He says he wants the time to enjoy his family without having to worry about entertaining me or our son. He wants to visit old friends, and he says he won't be doing touristy things, so he didn't think I would be interested in going. When I mentioned that I wanted to meet his family and didn't know when I would get another chance, he said that he understood, but it just wasn't the right time. This conversation turned into a pretty big fight. I said that I had the right to go along with him and meet his parents, that it was important to me, especially that our son is in touch with what is half of his culture. My husband said I have no right to tell him if I should meet his family and that there will be other chances. And he feels 1 month is too long for our son to be in a strange country. Let me be clear here. My son is fluent in Spanish and has been to this town before. Sure, it was when he was very young, but it's not a totally new experience. Plus, both his parents would be there, and his grandparents, an entire extended family on his father's side. My husband was adamant about wanting this trip for himself. So I'm at a loss. Am I wrong for wanting to go? Is my husband being weird about this? I don't know how to explain to him why this trip is so important to me. I need advice. Edit. I've texted my husband to ask if there is something he hasn't told me or something he's ashamed of me knowing, and that I wouldn't be mad and I just needed to know. He said there is nothing and he simply doesn't want me going. I also called his brother, who basically said the same thing. He doesn't know why my husband doesn't want me there, but that I should just respect his wishes and drop it. I'm really not convinced that nothing is going on. I just don't know where to go from here. Edit 2. I've been texting with my husband over the course of the evening. He's out of town for the weekend, basically demanding answers and offering every compromise I can think of. He says he isn't hiding anything and I'm not going. End of story. So I guess I'm at the point now where I need to find answers myself. I have no idea where to start though, or even what I'm looking for. Any help would be amazing right now. Edit. I haven't met his family, no. And as for the cultural thing, he did say something weird about that. Part of the reason he didn't want me there is he said I wouldn't be well received. Because I'm very white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, the whole works. But my husband is white too. He has a darker complexion, sure. But his brother is just as much Hitler's wet dream as I am. And my son was practically platinum blonde back when he went. And I'm fluent in Spanish, so it's not like I'd be bumbling around like an idiot unable to communicate. Plus, I'm not dumb. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. But Argentina has quite a lot of white people. I mean, hell, Nazis moved there for refuge. I think I would be just fine. But I do acknowledge that I've never been there and maybe I'm wrong. Update. Several people were asking for an update, so here I am. I guess I'll just get what was the biggest theory out of the way. No secret family, sorry to disappoint. Anyway, after reading all of your replies, I decided to call his family on my own. As soon as he got home, I got his phone and found his parents' number. I called them and they were very confused to hear from me. I started out by introducing myself, saying that I was sorry that we didn't get the chance to meet 4 years ago, and that it looked like I wouldn't be able to make it on this trip either, and that I was very sorry. They in turn told me that they had no idea that my husband and I were still involved. Apparently, my husband told them that I had left him a few months ago. Looking back on this, his conversations have lacked any mention of me in the past few months. His brother knew about this, but also knew we were still together. In his story, I took our son and was currently living elsewhere, and he hasn't seen his son since I left. So in his parents' eyes, I'm this horrible bitch who got knocked up, used my husband for money, and then took our 6-year-old son and left. All of this is pretty bad, but here is the real kicker. Since I have apparently ditched my husband and took my kid, he has told his parents he would like to use this trip to meet some women in Argentina and hopefully move back down there soon. His parents have been arranging meetings with old family friends and basically trying to find him a girlfriend. So both sides were pretty shocked to find out what was going on. I told his parents the truth, and his mother did seem especially upset by it. She apologized and said that she wanted to meet me and see her grandson, even offering to fly up to where we live. I haven't said yes yet. She is still a total stranger to me, and since I've learned I can't trust my husband, I'm a bit wary about his family too. But I will consider it. So that was cleared up. As for me and my husband, I told him what I knew. He was angry at first and told me I had no right to snoop. But even he realizes he has no leg to stand on. I left that evening with my son to a hotel, where we have been staying since. We are getting divorced. We are leaving for my parents' house this weekend and staying there for the rest of the summer. As for the future, I don't really know. I might move back home to my parents for a while, or I might try to find an apartment here. That's still a bit up in the air. Thank you to everyone for the advice. Sorry it's not as exciting as everyone had hoped, but I'm also pretty glad that the fallout has gone somewhat smoothly. Edit. I have all of his papers and temporary full custody. My kid is with me and I'm not letting his father see him. I won't know the custody situation until our full court date, divorce. But I am going to fight for full custody. I'm doing everything I can to make sure my son is safe. Now for some comments. Wow. Well, that turned into a self-fulfilling prophecy. Make sure his family is crystal clear on the details of his deception. He doesn't get to save any face after what he did. That's nuts. I think you should let his family meet their grandchild though. They were almost as caught up in his lives as you were. His mom said the right things to make me think that maybe letting them visit would be worth considering. Good Lord. Your husband is a horrible person. His brother is just as bad for going along with it. Clearly, his parents wouldn't have been willingly complicit in his cheating at least. He lied to them for a reason. Story 2. I had been dating Lawrence for 4 months when he told me he was being sent away for work. He works as a project manager and had to move across the country to help with the new development. I really enjoyed being with Lawrence and was sad that he was moving away, but I made it clear that I did not want to do long distance. It wasn't for me. I had tried it with other boyfriends in the past with little success. But it's only 3 months, was what he said to me. We talked about it more in depth and he explained to me that he only had to be there for the initial launch and to help get things moving. And then they were sending him back after 3 months. We talked more about the situation and I agreed to it. 3 months was not bad at all, and it's not like I wanted to be with anyone else. He was an incredibly caring and attentive long-distance boyfriend. It was hard, the way that all long-distance relationships were hard, but he put in a lot of effort to make things work. He even surprise visited me once a month. Well, Reddit, it has been 3 months, and guess what? He's not coming back. He just told me that he was actually sent away permanently, not to help set up, but to run the whole development. It was a big promotion for him. But he didn't want to let me go and he knew I was not willing to do long distance. So he basically lied. He figured that if I got a taste of what long distance with him was like, I would change my mind and want to stay with him. He doesn't understand why I am furious. The big part of why I have been okay with doing long distance with him is because I knew it was temporary. It's like he tried to trap me into a longer relationship. I don't know what to do. I don't want to do long distance even if he does visit me once a month. But I am especially angry that he doesn't understand why what he did was not okay. He basically stole 3 months from me. He is coming back this weekend. I had a whole thing planned for it. I got us a nice hotel at a nearby beach and booked restaurant reservations. Except now, his return is actually just another visit. Update. I'm literally shaking as I type this. So much has happened in the mere days since I posted. So after reading and considering all your comments, I broke up with him immediately. I honestly didn't even want to wait to do it in person because I was so angry. And because I had decided to do the romantic beach trip with my best friend instead. So I wasn't going to wait for him to get there. I explained very clearly why what he did was such an awful thing to do to a person. He apologized for lying to me for months. He's sad and hurt about what happened. Tried to convince me to stay with him, all that shiz. But I'm firm and he eventually accepted it. The next day, he is in a Facebook relationship with somebody else. I check his Facebook and all of a sudden, there are months of posts of him and this new girl visible to me. Posts that he had clearly hidden from me that he made available to me now. They clearly have been together for the last 2 months. I freak out. I call and text him, nothing. I message him on Facebook, nothing. Radio silence. He's totally cut me out. I am infuriated. And I messaged this new girl on Facebook. I don't want to waste my time with this, so I type up a long message explaining our relationship, including screenshots of our texts, pictures of us together, even photos of gifts, cards he has given me. New girl responds, and this is an exact quote. Yeah, he told me you would do this. Listen, from one woman to another, please consider getting some professional help. You can't keep doing this every time he enters a new relationship. It's unhealthy. Learn to move on. I'm now blocking you. Please do not try to contact me again. So yeah, that's it. I am in shock. I'm humiliated. I'm so angry. I'm leaving for the beach with my best friend this evening, which will be much, much needed. Now for some comments. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Consider what happened a lesson, so you know to pay attention to similar warning signs in the future. As for his new girlfriend, one of 2 things will happen. She will either wake up to his bullshit or keep making excuses for him. Regardless, she isn't your problem. Just wait until she goes through the same thing herself. It's bound to happen. She's going to learn the hard way. He's awful. You are very fortunate to be done with him.